Hello and welcome to Chanakya English for our exclusive interview today. Our guest today is a very special person. She is extremely good in Carnatic music, and she's also a chartered accountant. And the neat thing about it is that if you have heard Carnatic music in the past, you will notice that people do not really have a bass voice to their tone. But she does have that bass voice and she excels very well with what she does. And she also does a lot of fusion work with Hindustani, abhangs, and things like it. So, and also we'd like to hear from her about how she manages between Carnatic music career and also a chartered accountancy in one of the big fours. So let's welcome today Miss Sreeranjane Kaushik. Welcome, ma'am, to Chanakya English.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. Happy to be part of this program.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for making time for us because we know your schedule is very tight. And ma'am, so the first thing really I wanted to hear from you was how was your journey from being a musician to a chartered accountant?
Music and academics have not been exclusive of each other. So from a very young age, I've been trained in Carnatic music, and maybe from the age of 5 or 6, my parents had started enrolling me in under proper gurus. I've had very the great blessing of being under some very great gurus. I initially started my music under Srimati N. Rajam, the sister of Flute Ramani. So you could have seen her. She comes in this Ruku 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 song.
Yes.
In on the scene, she plays the mridangam.
Correct.
So I started my music journey with her, and thereafter I went to A.S. Murali Vidwan. He's a very popular Vidwan. He falls under the P.S. Narayana Swami Mama's Semangudi style of music. From there, I got the great opportunity to go on to Sangeetakala Acharya, Shri Chengalpet Ranganathan Mama, his tutelage for a very long time. And he is the person who has made me grow into a professional performing musician, honing the musicality in me. Thereafter, for a few years, I also got the great opportunity to learn from Vidwan Shri Abhishek Raghuram. And he has been a great inspiration in my musical journey. Especially, he made my voice come out. I heard that you like the bass
Yes.
tone in my voice.
Yes.
Most of the credits to my developing such a voice, the open-throated singing, I can attribute it to Shri Abhishek Raghuram. So that has been these are my gurus. Music has always been a part of our life.
But normally when we say you're good at something, so you must have noticed early on that you're good at music, so you would have concentrated on just music.
Yes.
But yet you chose to say, no, I also want to do, like a professional career in side by side. So that I think your answer is very humble, but you must have gone through a lot to maintain both those on the same platform, really.
What can I say? I would attribute the entire credit of my having pursued both these professions to my parents, especially my mother. She made a point that I don't miss music practice even for a single day. So, and my parents have always not been very pushy on academic side, but they wanted me to be happy and achieve whatever I wanted to do. Especially my guru, Shri Chengalpet Ranganathan Mama, he used to tell me, music is definitely there, we're all there, but you should never, lag behind in academics. And he is the one inspiration that pushed me at the right juncture when many of my friends who were into music, they were all pondering as to whether they can take a course in music rather than in any other academic stream.
Right.
But Chengalpet Mama, he pushed me that, no, music is there, we'll pursue that, you're anyway learning under me. So let us just go on and achieve something in academics. I want you to become something great in academics, so that you feel fulfilled on both ends.
Okay.
So that has been a major factor in my pursuing both at the initial stages. Because The right kind of guidance is something that a young person, any young person, would always want to be, given. And that I was fortunate enough to get from the right persons, the right kind of direction. Of course, there have been a lot of hiccups and difficulties in trying to achieve both. But that is always there in whatever you choose to excel in. It is always there.
Okay. You don't just stick to Carnatic music. You also experiment with other traditional music, really, like Hindustani or let's say Abang, and literally all over India. You try to pick out their traditional songs and you incorporate it into what you do. And what can you really talk about that?
Music, for one thing, rather classical music, I can say. Indian classical music has always fascinated me. I also like Western classical music, which is all which can be heard in the old English movies, all the musicals. So all
Operas.
any type of operas, any type of classical music has always been an inspiring thing close to my heart. Carnatic music, of course, I had been learning this. We have always I've grown up listening to a lot of music by Maharajapuram Vishwanath Iyer and M.D. Ramanathan. So many great doyens, Maduramani Iyer. So many. I mean, you cannot point out just this or that person. The entire set of all these great Vidwans who were there in those earlier times. So I've grown up listening to all of them because invariably my grandfather, he is a big connoisseur and he loves music. He also was associated at one point in time with a couple of great musicians. Of course, that fell apart when he got busy in his own business ventures and all that. So having listened to all such kind of musicians music, I've always been very inclusive, especially at a juncture when around probably my teenage or so. I could say it started with Emma Subbulakshmi Amma's bhajan renditions of Meera bhajan, Surdas bhajans. She has let a lot of CDs which are quite famous.
Yes.
So I used to just listen to those recordings and learn, and I used to sing it in front of my guru, Chengalpet Ranganathan Mama. He appreciated it a lot. He's always a very inclusive person when it comes to different types of music and inclusivity in music. He used to, there is one bhajan, Baso More Nainanume, Nandalala, Meera bhajan. My guru, he loved that song, especially when I sang it. Every time, and his wife, my Guru Mata, Party I call her, she liked another bhajan. So both of them debate over which one they have to make me sing on a particular day whenever they wanted to. So that had been my initial advent into this, the Hindustani side of music. Though MS Amma's, it's not a pure Hindustani, it's a classical Carnaticized version. And thereafter, I got to listen to a lot of all these doyens, especially when it comes to abhangs. Pandit Bhimsen Joshi's abhangs are a massive inspiration for me. I have learnt my abhang renditions only from his recordings majorly. And of course, a lot many other musicians, Kishori Amonkar ji, Lata Mangeshkar ji, so many of them. And apart from that, Sufi musicians like Nazakat Salamat Ali Khan, Bade Ghulam Ali Khan, so all of them, their music, Sufi styles of music, that had also inspired me a lot. Okay. That is what made me fill in my musical journey with all these unique pieces of
what is a Sufi piece that you like? Maybe can you?
No, it cannot be called as. I mean, there are different types of,
or anything that you've incorporated in what you do, like
I try to incorporate the way of singing in my abhang renditions because see, one is Carnatic, the other you can say as Hindustani. Abhangs are slightly different. So we have set ragas that are in Carnatic, in Hindustani. But abhangs have a mix of ragas. Mishra raga patterns will be there in abhangs. So, for example, if there is any raga which has, we know the saptaswaras are there, no? So, mostly in Carnatic, we have Shuddha Madhyama ragas or Prati Madhyama ragas. We don't have both Madhyamams in the same raga mostly. Even in fact, Nishadams will come in certain ragas, but Prati Madhyama and Shuddha Madhyama, except some very specific Bhashang ragas, they don't come very much as a pattern of raga itself. But whereas in Hindustani, we have a lot many ragas. I'm not very well versed in Hindustani, but whatever I have learned from my own this thing. There are a lot many ragas like Gavati. So many of them, they have both Madhyamas are there. So Carnatic and Hindustani ragas are deep. I mean, there is this kind of different dimension to such ragas. Whereas when it comes to abhangs, it has a third and fourth dimension even compared to the Hindustani ragas. Some ragas which do not form the same raga pattern, some anya swaras, you could say foreign anya means foreign swaras that are not pertaining to one raga, but it will be incorporated in abhang patterns. Okay. So that is where abhangs are even more unique. Okay. And abhangs are a way to possibly bridge between all types of Indian classical music, because mainly because of its bhakti orientation, and it reaches out to the bhaktas at a very easier pace in the current trend of
and you've done a lot of stage performances with abhang, actually.
Yeah, I have done. My abhang concerts, I mean, you cannot compare it with a fully Hindustani pattern abhang kacheris. It's a mix of both sides. To suit to probably a wider audience of both, maybe you can try to bridge both sides of Indian music. Okay. I use abhangs in my concert for that. As much as any very deep Ghanaragas presentations, Vistara, Swara Prayogas or Raga elaborations are there. People do enjoy all that very much. At the same time, when you just end it with a piece of abhang, or in fact even Devaranamas, so many compositions are there. Okay. Not only abhangs, even Devaranamas, Uttukadu Venkatesh Subbayar's Tamil Kritis, or so many Kirtanais are there. If any of these are used to end the concert with, along with probably a Namavali, people just go into a state of euphoria. Okay. And that gives us the pleasure. Sometimes, I tried not to divulge too much into it, because I always get too much into the meaning and all. Sometimes I'm just overpowered with the divinity that flows through the music. I just start crying and,
And I think that is the emotion that comes in your singing as well, and it shows.
So sometimes I have to be really careful to not cross that border of getting to the euphoric state. Otherwise, I lose my control. And see, though when I'm, not in a state of euphoria, my voice is under my control. The moment it crosses there, I won't be able to even utter a single word. It will be all shaky, and it happens to everybody.
Yes, that is true.
That is a very, very important aspect in professional presentation for kacheris, as compared to a more unofficial singing amidst friends and family, where you can just be what you want or how you want.
Right.
So that marks a difference, one of the major differences.
Okay, maybe could we have a short, singing from you right now for our viewers, just to give a feel?
We can. So just to highlight between the different styles as much as possible from whatever I've been singing, I'd like to present this piece, Shankar Girijapati. It's a bandish, more towards the Hindustani styles. This is in Rag Bhairav. which is an equivalent to Maya Malava Gaulai. It's the fundamental base raga of Carnatic music. Whenever a person starts learning, we start with Maya Mala Gaulai. So this is the equivalent of that. Shankara Girijapati, Shankara Girijapati, Vamadev Mahadev, Vamadev Mahadev, Vamadev Mahadev, Parvati Suhave, Parvati Suhave, Nandi Ganesagadol, Shankara Girijapati, Vamadev Mahadev, Vamadev Mahadev, Parvati Suhave, Nandi Nandi Gana Sangadola Shankara Girijapati, Gale Rundamala Saje, Asan Sohe Mrigachala, Gale Rundamala Saje, Asan Sohe Mrigachala, Shankhanad Ghungru और भजड़ मरु, शंखनाद घुंघरू ढमरू, शंखनाद घुंघरू और भजड़ मरु, शंख नाद घुंघरू भाजे डमरू, शंखनाद घुंघरू और भाजे डमरू, शंकर गिरिजापति, वामदेव महादेव, वामदेव महादेव, पार्वती सुहावे, शंकरा गिरिजापति, मायातीता स्वरूपिणी ननु ब्रोववे, मायातीता स्वरूपिणी ननु ब्रोववे, महात्रिपुर सुंदरी, शंकर మాయాతీత మాయమాళవగూడ దేశమున మాయా మాళవగూడ దేశమున మహిమగళ దోర రక్షించు ఈశ్వరి కాయజుని వైరికి ప్రాణకాంత జగదీశ్వరి కాయజుని వైరికి ప్రాణకాంత బృహదీశ్వరి కృపసేయ వెలనుమా గురుగుహ స్వామికి నేదాసుడైన మాయాతీత You can see the difference, no?
Yes, yes. It's beautiful how
This
you
is,
jump from one to the other.
This is just, Carnatic music. It's more. There are a lot of aluttam, as we call it in Tamil, weightage, the jharus and all that. The way we take about the ragams, it is very in a very heavy and systematic manner. So Carnatic music adds a lot of definition to music, and probably that is what I can say would has probably made me understand the other genres of music also.
And your voice, really, I go back to that voice. It's so apt for any music you choose, really. And I even vision you singing opera sometimes because of that voice, and it's beautiful, really.
Thank you. Thank
Came
you.
out very well.
Thanks a lot.
And ma'am, you also do a lot of Veedi bhajans. And Veedi bhajans, for our viewers, is what it was a traditional way where our culture did a lot of bhajans on the streets. And very few people are bringing it back, and you're one of those. How is your experience doing the Veedi bhajans, and why did you choose to do that?
Veedi bhajans has always, though in the last couple of years, it has gotten a lot of traction.
Yes,
especially with the contribution of digital media and YouTube, such avenues. See, I have been grown up in Mylapore area. So here it is a very, very regular affair.
it's common, yeah.
It's very, very common. So since a very young age, I have been, watching Veedi bhajans. I've been taking part in Veedi bhajane. We have a lot of small groups, bigger groups. So many groups are there. Veedi bhajanas have been prevalent throughout India, as far as we have
It
known.
is, but I think people have kind of retracted from it. They don't want to do it as much. They're not comfortable doing it. But very few people are dedicated, and they see a reason for wanting to do it. What is your reason behind it?
For me, there is no specific reason. It is a way to connect with the Almighty.
Okay.
And as we call it, satsangam. Satsangam is, it doesn't relate to any specific person or anything. Anywhere there is a good influence to your, overall development, mental, spiritual, any kind of good development. Such an association is satsangam. So these activities have always been arising out of such associations with people who are into a lot of meaningful activities. For me, while I was a very young girl, one group of Bhagavatas, they used to come on, we call it Unjavriti. Unjavriti is when they carry, even in fact, Tyagaraja Swami, on whom our fundamental, this entire Carnatic music base is now set because of these Mummurtis, as we call it. Mummurtis, Tyagaraja Swami especially, he had been an Unchavritti Bhagavatar also. So
Can you probably for our viewers give what is Unchavritti?
So Unchavritti is they just tie this
Turban.
turban like we might have seen the image of vision of Narada as many would have depicted it with all the veshti and everything, carrying a tampuri, small tampuri, and carrying a bag of rice for collection, mainly oriented towards we know, right? We would have seen a lot of cultural developments that have been facilitated and inspired by our Shankaracharyas, especially Periyava. He started this Kaipidi Arisi Tittam, as we call it, one handful of rice, if we are able to contribute. In smaller contributions, the entire society contributing for the good of everybody, that can used towards the needy and annadanas and such other very, very good purposes. So such kind of culture is what we have all been given under this.
But traditionally, it was more that they actually sang and they got that
they
handful of rice, and that's what they survived on. Really,
they survived on, especially because earlier days musicians, all these Bhagavatas, they don't perform for money or it was not oriented on. It
wasn't a worldly pleasure.
It was all
devotion.
It's a mode of praying for the society's wellness. Well-being.
So do you actually see singing for as a devotion comes out much better than singing for commercial purposes?
I think we should not make a difference between singing for commercial
because when you're devotionally singing, it looks like you were talking about the Euphoria concept, right? That really you can attain, which is not possible elsewhere.
Yes. So singing should always, we have all been given this kind of music, the sampradaya, this paddhati of music, all these compositions are oriented towards the higher evolution of one's own inner self.
Okay.
As we understand, Ilya, it's not, we don't see our self-development. Nowadays, we all have all these classes on mindfulness and meditation as separate sessions.
Right.
But the way our culture has been given is to promote such kind of consciousness in every activity that we do. So that is where in earlier days we didn't have everybody knew music. Everybody, they might not have been a great performer, public performer,
right?
But they were well versed in all these musical pieces, the concepts, underlying concepts behind those. So those kind of, so coming back to the first question, I had had the opportunity of taking part in this small Unchavritti, which is singing across streets, getting probably rice and offering blessings also for everybody. One need not even give them rice. They just have to do a namaskara and you can receive their blessings. So the blessings, it was not, they didn't feel as if they were giving the blessings. They felt that they were the, just passing on the blessing of the God. So whose namas they were singing on the Vidhi procession that they were doing. One Shri Radhakrishnan Bhagavatar, he still in fact takes, carries on his Vidhi Bhajana around our streets along with his son and other co-Bhagavatars. So he's also from West Mambalam area. So he belongs to the Gopala Krishna Bhagavatar pattern of Paddhati, Nama Sankirtana Paddhati, Pudukottai Gopala Krishna Bhagavatar side. So my first introduction to Nama Sankirtanam was through Radhakrishnan Mama's Unchavritti that went past our streets. I used to take part in those Vidhi Bhajanais along with my mother or my father, one of them used to join me. And after a certain age, when I was, able to go to the Madavidis for in the mornings. Of course, my parents used to accompany me. We joined this bigger group by Jnanananda Mandali from a very young age. Back then, in fact, Swami Namanandagiri Maharaj was also there. He was the prime person who was convening these bhajans. He used to appreciate my singing, and even at that time, they all encouraged me a lot and gave me the opportunities to take part in the Nama Sankirtana, as we call it, the Vidhi Bhajane, Margali Vidhi Bhajane sessions. So that is how I got inspired into this style of music, Vidhi Bhajan type of music. And thereafter, upon my introduction to Abhang music and other genres of Indian classical music, I also learned about this Varakari, which is the equivalent of this Vidhi Bhajanai, happening in near Pandharipur area. So Vari is nothing but a pilgrimage. Okay. Vari Karina, to do a pilgrimage. The people who are carrying out a pilgrimage. The pilgrims, rather. So Vari Karis are these group of mainly consisting of farmers in Maharashtra who used to go to visit Panduranga at Pandharpur. You might all be knowing it's a very, very massive procession. So that it's I have not been a part of it, though I hope to at some point in time soon to experience that because when people join together
in Chennai as well.
Recently, I got to do convene a Varakari session, which is for one of the other TV channels recently around Triplicane in Mada streets, going to Pandurangan temple as part of the Ashadi Ekadashi.
So it's local Panduranga temples you go.
Yes. Okay. A lot of people do join the Varakari in Pandharpur. From here, they go to Solapur, some area near Pune or somewhere. From there, they join the Varakari Sampradaya there. Okay. So all that, it is, I think, the group, the massiveness of the group will compel you to feel that euphoria. So that is the greatness of all these satsangas. Whether you feel it or not at that point in time, the divinity spread across the larger group will compel, it will force you, it will take you along. It's like when we are at sea, we cannot swim. The sea has to take us somewhere. We have to float along.
Correct.
So that is the Vaibhavam of such bigger congregations of divinity. And
it's nice to see that there are similarities between the north and south also, right? Things happening there as well. I mean, Varkari resembles our Vidhi bhajans. So that.
In fact, though I'm not very adept in all these types of music across the world. Whatever, based on my understanding that I have been given to know, is that music has evolved through a lot. Time immemorial. So in earlier times, we had all this. We might have seen in the texts. The Yar Isai, Yalpanar people were there, who were Panars, who were specialists in Yar Isai, and lot of pun-based music we have come across in Tamil music literature, as well as texts like Sangeeta Ratnakara and all, which were probably in the pre-Mughal or the initial Mughal period, those texts were there. And even in those texts also, there have been some criticisms by others saying that particular text was a little deviating from their own styles of gharanas and music. So, though music is a very universal concept, it is also a very, very personal aspect that comes from within. Though we may have come under a particular paddhati or a gharana, the style that we the definition that we give to our own music makes it unique. So that is.
So are you really saying, I mean, fusion seems like a new term, but you're saying that even from the past, the fusion really has existed?
Fusion, as we see it now, it is very apparent when two completely divergent forms of music are combined together. But at some level, even within our own music, there is a little fusion
Exactly.
of what all influences that we have had in our own experiences, based on our life experiences, circumstances,
Right.
our emotions.
Right.
And in fact, during some of our, when we are emotional, we listen to some music. The emotion changes our perception towards what we listen, which we might not have appreciated had we been in a different emotion.
True.
So those influences are all imbibed by the mind and the heart, and through all these influences, the music that is unique to every person, it emerges. So that is how even today, if we listen to any type of musician, be it a senior musician or a very very junior musician, or someone in the middle, or someone of having a mix of styles, for every person we have something new to take from them.
Okay. You made a point where you're saying that in the olden days, everybody learned music, and probably we are not having that today. So, was there like some dissatisfaction that today anything is being lost, or?
No, it's not at all like that.
Okay.
What I meant was, Carnatic music was very much prevalent across households at all levels.
Correct.
But now we have a lot more variety of music. And maybe because in the olden days, there was a limitation in terms of the geographical locations and the exposures that people were getting. So I don't know much, but we used to see in all these old texts that some musician from far east, or far west, someone had come into the courtyard of a great king, and they sang something there. In fact, even in this Thiruvilayadal Puranam, this Banabhadrar versus the great musician was there, Hemanatha Bhagavatar. He was a person who came from a different geographical location, establishing his musical superiority across the globe. So only when such musicians wanted to establish their music or make themselves known and traveled across geographies, only at those points in time people could listen to different types of genres of music. Because music, as we know, is influenced by the location, by the geography, the mental, the mentality of the demography, the constitution of the population in a particular area, all that. But now with digital age coming to picture, we are able to listen to a lot of resources from across the world. So now we know a lot of music that is coming from the Western styles, as well as those in light music, the cinema music. So all that, the media type of music, which is catchy in tune, all that has developed. So when there are a lot of varieties available, the focus on one particular genre will definitely reduce to people who are interested and have some kind of linking to that particular music alone.
Okay.
So that is where I am saying that traditional Carnatic music, as it was very very prevalent in families at that point in time. Now families, for example, my father would prefer a different type of music. I would prefer a different type. My husband chooses a different genre of music. So that kind of variety is there.
Yes.
So there is no positive or negative. Rather, the music of a particular era would, you can say, mirror the mindset of people.
While talking to you, I'm thinking about some other point, and I wanted to hear your opinion on this. Is that in the West, when in colleges or in schools, they actually have something called music education for listeners, So you don't have to be a musician or a singer or anything, but if you want to appreciate a particular kind of music, you still have to learn about it. That's the way they perceive it. Do you foresee our stand any time like that in the future?
Frankly, I have not heard about this aspect.
Okay.
It's pretty new coming from you here.
Okay.
I haven't known about.
Okay, because I think we are more, it's inbuilt. We hear things, and I guess that's how we learn. Whereas there, they actually need a course to get, I guess, exposed to such music. I'm not sure.
I think that course that is being facilitated by the universities or colleges or schools there are being forced by parents here. So
Yes.
whenever we are in the young in our younger days,
Correct.
invariably everybody attends some music class or mridangam class or dance class or nowadays even Western music
Yes,
or
everything.
keyboard. Even my sister, she learns keyboard. So our parents make sure that we undergo the music learning listener courses that you are
Correct.
talking of.
Correct. So I think it is more in our regular daily life.
Yes.
Really. So how would you say this music has impacted you personally?
Personally, I'm just grateful to God to have given this, brought this music into my life. Of course, my parents and my grandfather, they have been, my grandmother also. They've all been very instrumental in this. As we grow up, certain concepts we understand or we are forced to understand. So, in such a way, I would like to recollect the words of verses mentioned in Bhagavad Gita as well as one mentioned in Bhajagovindam. In Bhagavad Gita, it says, Dhyayate Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodobhijayate Krodad Bhavati Sammohaha Sammohat Smriti Vibhramaha Smriti Bhramshat Buddhinashaha Buddhinashat Pranashyati. This is what the shloka says. The outline I'd like to give is, whenever we think about dhyayate, materialistic things, vishayan, there is created some sort of an association or affiliation, which is called as a sangha. And from that affiliation, from that association with the materialistic aspects, there arises kama, which is the desire. Once desire comes, it is the root cause of anger. If we don't get what we desire, it immediately creates anger. And from anger, delusion arises. And from delusion, the mind gets, insanity approaches. And once there is insanity, the person perishes. See, not necessarily a physical perishment, but an emotional and mental perishing happens, is what Bhagavad Gita says. And so from this, the type of association and affiliation that we build in life, it should be in a very, very healthy manner in order to make us achieve objectively and not be entwined in it for a very desirous purposes. So, in contrast to this sloka, we also have one verse, one part of Bhajagovindam by Adi Shankaracharya, where he says, Satsangatve Nissangatvam, Nissangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nishkalatatvam, Nishkalatatve Jivan Muktihi, he says. This is the opposite side of what we saw now. The moment we engage in satsanga is not necessarily people. People think that satsangam means a group of good people. It's not like that. Sangam is any kind of attachment or affiliation or connection. It can be even to a thing, but it should be in a good way. Satsangam, the association, the attachment that we have, it should be with a good thing which will have a very good influence in our life. And because of such satsangam, nissangatvam, detachment, in life comes. We will be able to approach at things in a very, very objective and limited purposive manner and not take it to heart too much. And from that nissangatvam, detachment, arises nirmohatvam, which is not being consumed by delusion, to not be deluded. So, from such quality arises clarity of thought, stability in thought, and which will ultimately result in just escalation of the self into a very, very higher plane towards the ultimate goal of humanity. So, these are the two stotras I would like to describe to denote what music has done for me personally and what I hope to achieve and carry on with the help of music. Music being a very, very good association and attachment for me. It's a Sat Sangam. Through this, I have been having the good fortune to experience the great blessings of well-wishers, good thoughts, to ponder on the great Vagayakara's meanings of the songs that I sing, in which especially Dikshitar, Shyama Shastri, Tyagarajar, all of them, they have emphasized on great concepts through their music. So pondering on all these good things will definitely, I'm sure it will take me to achieving whatever is the purpose of my life, and in serving humanity or the society or our nation in a very, very better way than what I could have done without music.
Okay, so positivity is the root.
Definitely.
Keyword, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. And with all this, I always say this verse in Tamil by Ramalinga Adigalar, Vayara Varthigindror Manathamarnda Deivam. So all these good things that happen are only because of the wishes of the God who resides in the mouth of all the well-wishers who wish us well. I would like to pay my gratitude to all my well-wishers out there, because of whom I'm able to, come achieve whatever I have been able to do so far.
Stay grounded, and I'm sure you're going to go to heights. So, like I said, really a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Hope we'll be able to have more sessions in the future.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Askar. Thank you for watching Chanakya English. Stay tuned for more such discussions.